Chelsea will take on Servette in their Europa Conference.
Servette won their last game.
Conference. I don't know what that competition is all about, but I know Chelsea are in one competition. They call the conference. Chelsea lost their first Premier League game under Enzo Maresca, 2-0 to Manchester City. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of actually losing to City. Even though I can't relate, but I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of losing to City. To be fair to Chelsea, I actually expected like a whitewash. I expected City to just bamboozle them from start to finish, but they actually held their own. Especially in the first half, they had more possession, and there were times they created chances that on another day they could have converted, but at the end of the day, almost cannot kill a bird. Nearly is not what we are looking for, and they still lost. So what do you think are the early problems for Enzo Maresca so far? I can say like 100, but like, what do you think are the major problems for Maresca?
Well, everything. But I think you should be encouraged by, for instance, Lavia's performance.
Yeah.
Lavia was very, very good. But I don't think Palmer is getting enough of the ball. He's seeing enough of the ball.
I think Palmer should actually be more central.
Yes.
Should be played central. He should not
get the ball in the half spaces. Shouldn't be getting the ball out wide like that, because it's less likely to be, able to make an impact all the way out there.
Yeah.
And he just needs to get on the ball more. You need to use your Palmers and please, Enzo, where they are using Enzo.
Don't even say where they are using Enzo. I don't know if Chelsea fans would like me for this, but that guy should not be a starter.
Yeah, actually, I agree.
Did you see when he was injured towards the end of last season and Chelsea were suddenly playing better? He was dispossessed too many times. He can't create chances.
Lavia and Caicedo.
And Palmer centrally in front of them.
And you're good.
Then why is he even playing Pedro Neto on the left? Put this guy on the right, Palmer centrally, put Mudryk or whatever on the left, then put Nkunku centrally. Take that Jackson guy off. Okay, we should leave him there. Let's allow him cook.
Yeah, and that pass, like
that killer pass was actually good. He has it in him, Abi.
I think what he just needs to do, which is something that I can't understand why he hasn't worked on it, is shooting. John Mikelobi talked about it. Shoot! You're a striker. You have to know how to shoot. If you can't shoot, what are you doing there?
I think.
He should shoot.
He says you should shoot.
How many?
No, but Mikel was a midfielder.
I think you see it. I think you see it in Jackson too. You see it in Jackson that he doesn't have the natural killer instinct of a striker. So maybe he's better off as a supporting striker or on the flanks. But that killer instinct, he doesn't have it in him.
He should just not be a starter.
Jackson has that good work rate.
But let's talk about now. Chelsea were not that bad actually. If they had someone to convert those half chances, they could actually, if they scored first, we will have been looking at a different game. So now Napoli have made a formal offer for Lukaku, and we all know what that means. If they get Lukaku, that means Chelsea could also get Osimhen in the final days of the window. Hypothetically, if Chelsea bring in Osimhen, do you think it solves their problems right now?
It doesn't solve any problem. One thing for Chelsea is that while other teams are already trying to go into a new season, Chelsea is in a new phase of rebuilding again.
Yeah.
Because it's not like last season, you're not starting you have the same manager, it's now a new manager and still trying to pick up from what he has and the extras we're giving to him. Apart from that, Chelsea would have a lot of unhappy players this season. And that is going to be a major task.
I mean, imagine leaving Sterling.
Yes, Sterling is out. Just first game of the season, there is already a press. There was a press release.
Kani Chukwuemeka, Madueke.
Even Chalobah did not play. You know that Conor Gallagher is still with them. They are still finding options. Lukaku is still.
From this thing yesterday, I saw a video where Chelsea TikTok posted, and I saw the players in the gym.
So that's if you look at that. Then you look at the players that the manager is now going to use.
Yeah.
Most won't be regular because you have to be sure of which will be a regular starter. Like now, Lavia comes back from injury. He had a good first game. We don't know how next game would be if he do thrive well. And we look at one player that is really struggling, that struggled in the first game. That's Cole Palmer. Palmer was the shining light for last season, and this season I feel it won't be that easy for him. So he has to now look for another X factor. Which of these players would shine bright?
I think Palmer still has the X factor. He's just utilized wrongly.
Apart from the position he played,
yeah,
every defensive-minded player knows that Palmer is a threat. So it's now puts in more workload on his front side. Everybody now knows that this is where you have to.
So there'll be more eyes. They will not give him less respect and all.
Played against Chelsea. Palmer had more freedom to move.
Because they did not it's Palmer.
Yeah, it's Palmer. Palmer had more freedom, but this time Pep already knew that I need to find a way to lock this player. So it's another problem again for Rice.
You don't see those spaces.
I don't feel the problem Chelsea will face this season. Forget about the talent that they have. It's an unhappy dressing room.
Yeah. That
dressing room will be so unhappy that the manager would
the fact that in your first post-match conference you are coming out to say I need to sell players is a massive red flag. And to me, on the final note, I also say that I am going to question Enzo Maresca's mentality or the lack of it. Even if you are signing players on a 9-year contract and whatever, and the club should tell you in the background that Baba, even if you don't make top 4, nothing spoil. Just keep the squad complete. You don't need to come out for a club the magnitude of Chelsea. How can you come out and say if we don't make top 4, we are fine? That's a big insult. Why did they hire you? That's a big insult. Maresca should not come out and say that. You can't spend £1 billion and say if you don't make top 4 you are happy. It is impossible. It's impossible. No, there's no way you sign £1 billion and you can't point at 2 world-class players that you bought.
But on a fair note, I think the manager is just saying what is in front of him. He's just being realistic.
No, you don't need to say that out. That's not real. That's not being realistic.
No, you have
to not make top 4.
Like what the hell was saying.
Spending £1 billion and you will not make top 4. We're not telling him to win the league now, but compete. Say it out there that we're in the title race.
But understand the point.
Yes.
The players that Chelsea bought, are they quality enough to win the league?
We are still saying the same thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yes, why would you spend £1 billion on pointless transfers?
The management did not tell you that these players is to win. They did not tell you that you're sure.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I promise you.
Chelsea, you cannot come out
and say that.
How has Chelsea fared since the management of Todd Boehly?
That's not the point. My point is that do you know if Unai Emery even comes out to say this, we can still try to understand. Not a club the magnitude of Chelsea coming out to say, if we don't make after £1 billion, if we don't make top 4, it is fine.
Is it him that spent?
I don't care.
Did he follow the agent?
£1 billion squad.
Did he follow the agent?
Why did you have coach who came 6th?
Exactly.
Not many points from 4th.
No, I'm speaking.
If you are looking for an upgrade on Poch and Poch finished 6th, that means you're expecting 4th, 5th or 4th.
No, but I'm speaking on the reality that this man comes in and the players that they are signing for him are not worth
signing for him. He's also agreeing to these deals now.
No, he's
also agreeing to these deals.
Like even if a manager doesn't want the player, if the club wants it, they can't sign him. They can only ask for your own opinion, and that doesn't mean it's the final say.
So are you telling me all these signings, Maresca did not have a say?
I think some of them he did not have a say.
All of them, he did not have a say. That's not true.
He did not have a say. Okay,
he has too
let's
much.
Use Real Madrid.
Pity for him.
Let's use Real Madrid. No, they used to sign players without the manager having a say.
Yeah.
They go for something that happens. So they go for good quality.
Because he didn't have a say, he will now come out and say, if we don't get top 4,
Ancelotti worked with this kind of squad that Chelsea has. Has he worked with this loaded number? Even when Ancelotti was even when, do you know the excuse people give for Ancelotti at his time at Everton is that he was not with world best players.
But do you hear Ancelotti say that finishing 20th is fine?
20th, that's normally on the Premier League you don't look at Everton and say Everton is going to win the title. I'm not even bringing them in
but we know that
but Ancelotti came, we talked about him trying to do that.
Even sports manager cannot say that they are not trying to fight for top 4. Not talk of Chelsea manager. Chelsea.
But I'm just saying, see that man.
So why did they hire him?
But look at the post match. Give him a little slack. Man brings that in starting.
Let's
substitute.
There's no
press release. Even as a manager, you're
signing
unsettled
and Osimhen
now.
will do for them is that it will paper over some.
They will spoil Osimhen. They will stain Osimhen's white.
Because Osimhen will score.
Yeah.
Osimhen knows how to shoot.
Give him.
Unlike Nicolas. he will shoot.
And those goals will
People
enter.
have some cracks and some bad performances, but at the end of the day, their bomb will still open.
But when we keep saying Osimhen will score, I know that Osimhen knows how to hustle for ball and all, but let's look at this Chelsea system. I really need us to answer how many players would you really create for him? Because if you want to say Palmer can fail down, Palmer also wants to score. If you have a good season last season, you also want to replicate.
If Palmer, I'm sure Palmer was very adventurous because he was seeing that Jackson is not converting most of my chances. But if you have an Osimhen, you'll be happy as a midfielder. You'll be happy to lay those passes when you know that someone will finish my pass. That's just how it works.
But another thing though is that I'm getting vibes of I'm that guy from Palmer.
It is already happening. It is already happening.
We can be positive and negative. It's a positive because players need ego. To be able to perform, top players. That's what drives you. And
mentality needs to be there.
But it's a very, very thin line. And you're walking that tightrope. You could also fall on the other side where you start becoming a bit too arrogant. And your teammates don't like you anymore.
Yeah, and as funny, speaking about tightropes, Enzo Maresca at the moment is already working on a tightrope, even from his first game as a Chelsea manager. And to be very interesting to see how he will manage his 40-plus squad players. I know Chelsea will take on Servette in their Europa Conference.
Servette won their last game.
Conference. I don't know what that competition is all about, but I know Chelsea are in one competition they call the Conference League, and we'll see what Chelsea will do in that game. But one thing I'll end by saying, if Chelsea sign Osimhen, he becomes their best player immediately. Palmer is not that guy. Osimhen is that guy. He will be that guy rather. Well, let's see. I think they will.
Osimhen
but
doesn't want to go on loan, and Chelsea are only offering loan. He doesn't want to reduce his salary.
See, at some point,
so what's going to happen?
At some point, Osimhen will have to choose something. Either you are playing or then you stay on the
Okay, we'll come back.
Osimhen after the window has closed and you're not playing. Napoli must play.
We'll come back to this.
Lukaku even when they were struggling.
When the window has closed and you have an Osimhen, you cannot leave him out. You will bring him back. He will play.
Window was not open, Lukaku was not open.
We'll come back to this in probably a week or two, and we'll see where Chelsea are, whether they will have Osimhen in their lineup or not. Until then, Maresca has some job to do.